Welcome to the Tomb of Horrors.
When last we left our hapless fools, they just found really crappily hidden secret door in the bottom of the third pit. That was designed. The whole design of those three pits was that by the third one, you're obviously not going to fall into it, and so thus you're not going to find the secret door in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of like trolling you, but Euphania was really all about searching every pit for secret doors, so she totally did so, and found the secret door, and it led to to a very, very short crawlway, like 5 feet, and then it opened into a staircase leading down. And they took the staircase leading down, and it hung a left and or right, and led to another staircase leading down. But they could see that that area down there was misty. There was some kind of like mist and gas in the air.
I should interject just a character moment. Odette gave the belt back to Jean-Claude. Odette had last adventure borrowed a belt of hill giant strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone was like, oh, that's an engagement proposal.
Yes.
And so, yeah, Odette gave the belt back. She was a little uncertain about whether it was a good idea to be relying on magic items enhancing strength anyway, because everything, had sort of seemed to be meant to tell her otherwise, but
Yeah.
because everything means something. Anyway, carry on.
Whatever the gas was in that hallway, I guess I can say it now. It was fear gas, but it doesn't matter because Pulmonic just used Gust of Wind, and he can do that at will. So he just kept it backed away. And it's interesting because the corridor had a dead end and has a door not at the dead end, so he could just like keep it all bunched up in that little dead end, and head to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And after checking the door, they opened it, and it led down to steps leading down, which opened into a room. And the room was full of like old, decaying furniture. They had to burn their way through a bunch of webbing to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And on the stairs, there, lying on the floor at the bottom of the stairs, was this iron mace inlaid with silver. And they were careful about it. They picked it up with Magahand.
Mm-hmm.
And Magahand and brought it over, and when Pulmonic touched it, it glowed with this holy light, and he identified it and discovered that it was specifically designed to kill a specific creature, but it wasn't clear exactly which creature, but it's designed to kill.
It's a Sloying.
Mm-hmm.
But so, not even a specific type of creature, but a specific individual.
Oh.
So
Odette picked it up because I think I was down to low hit points again for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
or I think I was still at 7 hit points from way back. I kept trying to die, but yeah, so I picked it up just in case it blew up or something.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing untoward happened. But I'm like, at this point, I'm super suspicious. Acererack is a huge jerk.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, there's a magic item that's like perfect for slaying Acereracks lying right here. It's an Acererack slaying mace. Yeah, I'm totally going to use this thing.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you always find the murder weapon for the big bad in his own dungeon. That's how things work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to say that Acererack has read the Evil Overlord list, because he clearly hasn't. If his goal was to kill us, there were so many better ways to do that. But he also has read the How to Not Play Fair list.
Yes.
So, that one he definitely has read. So, yeah, I don't trust it. So I took the mace, but as we'll see later, that frustrated everyone greatly.
So they headed down into this room, and it's full of decaying furniture and like old lavish stuff that's all like rotted away. But at the back there's this solid gold couch, and on the solid gold couch is this skeletal figure. And as they enter the room, a booming voice emanates from the whole chamber that says, "Who dares to disturb the rest of Acererack? It is your death which you found." And the skeletal figure with the crown rises up and begins casting some sort of spell.
While at the same time saying, "Yes, it is me. I am Acererack. Me, the person you are here to kill. I am the Tomb of Horrors," etc.
Yes.
No,
I gave the thread a picture.
Yeah, he doesn't say that, but that's what we're all hearing in our minds. This is obviously no.
Well, What? This isn't the real Acererack?
Yeah,
Come on.
and I'm like, okay, so we find
Resting right in front of the mace of Acererack.
Acererack slaying. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I find the mace of Acererack slaying. I step through the door. There's this thing like, I am Acererack with a mace-shaped chest. Ah! And so yeah, Odette refuses to use the mace throughout this combat, and everyone is like, "What the mace?" You know.
Mm. Well, everyone piles on to Acererack, but yes, Odette doesn't use the mace. She
I
just
use
uses
my non-magical maul.
and
I do a pittance.
Yeah, mostly it's not super interesting what happens, except Jean-Claude, because he has the Holy Avenger sword, which is like totally for undead slaying, and so it just cuts through Acererack like butter. It just like slashes a huge gash in his rib cage, and it's like leaves a glowing wound there, and he slashes a huge thing up his side, but he continues trying to cast his spell.
Meanwhile, Odette rages, and she's like just
Yeah.
I do like I think 5 or 6 hit points of damage. A pittance, as I said.
And everyone's like, use the glowing mace. And
I'm like, no way, it's a trap. And so I hit him with a regular mace and do another 1/20th of a pittance. And yeah, and then he kills me.
Yes. So he's still building up to some kind of spell, but he's not there yet. So he just attacks Odette physically, and when she's killed, it makes this horrible screeching sound, and she crumbles to the ground. Yeah, and dies.
Yeah, horribly. And Jean-Claude goes, no, and is all romantic and stuff about this.
And takes it takes his Holy Avenger and beheads Acererack. His crowned head goes flying off. The voice boom. No. How could this be after all these years? And Acererack dies and falls into a crumpled pile, his crown still smoking on the ground.
And over, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're like, we won the tomb. Yay.
Yeah, Tomb of Horrors. That was not that hard.
Except we do know for sure that there is a treasure vault that we haven't found. It's got that skull trap in it and my chest. So we know we haven't completed the thing.
How do you know your treasure didn't get deleted?
Because we saw it. We
we
used clairvoyance.
That's
or
right.
or Pulmonic did. And then a skull trap went off and killed him through the clairvoyance. So
unless it was all a clever illusion. Looking.
I don't know. Do you really think that the Acererack would set up such an elaborate illusory ruse just to jerk us around? In the instance that we were like to use this one obscure clairvoyance spell to try? Yeah, no. No. So anyway, 5 minutes later, Odette shows up, having been slain. And she greets everyone super politely. And it's just like every word is please and thank you and excuse me and all that, and instantly everyone's like, oh no, she's turned into Cricket. And they ask, are you a person, Odette? And she's like, well, yes, of course I am. I would call that a foolish question, but that would be rude. Yeah.
No, she just became super polite.
Super polite. That's over the topishly polite. I can't remember the exact wording of the thing, but that's basically, yeah.
So they dig around in that room looking for loot, and they find the crown is actually not magical, but it's worth a lot of money. They find this bag, this leather bag, and
I think Theophania was instantly all over that. Was it Theophania? It was like, I want it. It's mine.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a bag of holding with some gems and 7 spell scrolls and a map, and the map is a treasure map to the real treasure, which is and Pulmonic was able to look at it and identify where. It's about a couple 100 miles away from here, so that's clearly where they should go next.
Yeah, no. The find object spell that they used to track Odette's belt had a range of 1,000 feet. So yeah, no.
Yeah.
Unless it was all a clever ruse.
No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 7 or more times, shame on me.
Yeah.
Acererack's not gonna Yeah.
And
Anyway.
they found a jade coffer with 6 potions of healing that will actually work in the dungeon. Potions of healing haven't been working, so
Yeah.
they've
But they
now
do-
got
they
they
do
do
a
like
pit.
1d4, so not
Yeah. I guess it's 2d4 plus 2, but that's still
maybe not very much.
less than a weapon blow. You know.
Yeah.
So they did not decide to leave the dungeon and declare victory, but instead kept searching around. And they searched through the hallway that they just come out of very diligently for secret doors. They spent like a couple hours doing it. It actually got on to be like supper time because they spent quite a bit of time doing that. And they did, in fact, find a secret door on the stairs that had just come from the other secret door that led out to the east. Which everyone was just like, oh, Acererack, because it's just like
It's the same thing over and over again.
and then just this whole area was like pointless, and then there's a secret door on the right at the beginning that was like the right way to go or whatever, presumably anyway.
Yeah. It's a
So-
standard pattern.
Yeah, that led to a hallway, which led to a door, and upon entering the door, they found this room that was just
Well, it's a hallway and then a room.
and
Oh yeah.
The hallway.
So many shelves.
Yeah, we really are enjoying the inaccuracies in the picture, the description between the descriptions and the pictures.
Yeah.
So this room is super cluttered, and every surface of the wall is covered in like shelves full of like jars. Now
that is really covered.
yeah, that comment was like everyone just kept commenting, so covered in jars, but there's some work tables covered in like bones and linens. There's some desks and some workbenches. There's like weird tools. They figure out pretty quickly that this is a mummy preparation room because there's like all the mummy preparation tools in here.
Yeah.
And notably, there are 3 4-foot-tall vats in the center of the room.
One contains liquid of burnt umber. One contains liquid of olive, and one contains liquid of ochre.
Yeah.
Gygax and your Crayola.
Yeah, no, I actually put those names to them. It was just brown, green, and orange, or
Yeah.
red or something.
Yeah, it actually didn't even describe it in there. They just asked me the color, and I looked at what the things were and told them what color they were.
Oh,
so.
okay.
Which is fine. It's just that it isn't even coming from that part isn't even coming. The colors aren't even coming from Gygax. They're just coming from me.
We're just spontaneously Gygaxing now.
Okay.
Everything bad is Gygax's fault. That's no. I don't want to say that because this adventure is actually kind of interesting. I just want to take the credit for everything good. Farshim goes up to smell the vats. And he smells the center one, and it has an acidic tang. And he also notices at the bottom, he can see in the murky bottom what looks like a big gold key. So I'm trying to remember what did he do with that? Oh yeah, right, of course. Megahand. That easily solved that problem. Megahand just went into the acid vat and pulled out the key, and they discovered it was not actually a key, but it was half of a key. It's like an old-fashioned big gold key, but it's like half of it. And you can see like it has like puzzle piece edges that are supposed to click into some other half.
Yeah.
And so they immediately start looking around. So they decide to go to they decide to send the Magahane into the ochre vat to see if there's a key in that one. And as soon as the Magahane goes into the vat suddenly a big pseudopod comes out of it and it comes to life, and an ochre jelly comes out, and I did a lot of and it attacks, and they attack back.
So we fight.
Yeah. Now I believe Odette got drenched in acid quite a bit because she was.
I got hurt
front lines.
pretty bad. Yeah.
And
I don't think I actually died though.
No.
I just got hurt real bad.
That's just how you got down to low hit points, which became.
Now you're ready to get another quirk.
Yeah, not yet.
And the battle with the ochre jelly. Well, no, sorry. And so Theophania, I think Shannon was suspicious of the ochre jelly because I think she knew stuff about it. So she asked, "Can I know stuff about ochre jellies?" And so she made a check and did really well, or did decently well, but not like phenomenally. And I was like, "Okay, you're pretty sure there's some kind of attacks that like cause them to split in half, and then there's 2 of them, but you don't know exactly what those attacks are." Now, everyone wisely decided to stay away from slashing, but no one except for Brian, who this turned out to be not relevant, knew that lightning was also what causes ochre jellies to split, which is unfortunate because Holmanik pulled out his most powerful spell first thing, lightning bolt, or ligniting bolt.
Yeah,
And-
that was a hard one for him to come up with a name for.
Yimud.
Yeah.
So he immediately he's like,
Yimud.
step back, everyone.
Yeah.
Blast it.
I was like, does Tim know? 'Cause he was
I actually-
like, it's
I
just
thought
like,
he.
you immediately said there's one type of damage that will cause it to split, and Polmanic's like, all right, lightning bolt. Yeah, haven't used
Yeah.
that on anything until this point, so I'm gonna pull it out and use a lightning bolt.
Yeah, I actually thought that while Polmanic didn't know, I thought that Tim knew because he was
Yeah.
just like doing what would be interesting. But it turns out he didn't. He just
Yeah.
was actually he was disappointed because he used his like biggest fry
Yeah.
spell, and
Yeah.
it does no damage. It just splits them, right?
Yeah.
The most damage you can get is because you round their hit points down. So if they happen to have
Yeah.
odd hit points, it does 1 damage.
So it did no damage, and now it can do twice as many attacks.
Yeah.
Yay.
But other than that, they mostly just avoided slashing damage. I described the arrows oozing into them, but they still damaged them, and they focused on bludgeoning damage and pretty quickly dispatched those ochre jellies.
Yeah.
And looked in the vat, and lo and behold, beneath the ochre jelly was the other half of the key, fit perfectly together, forming a. They checked out the third vat.
I don't think we really found anything there. It was just
Yeah.
like dirty water or something. I feel like
Arshim stuck his hand in and like felt around for a long
Yeah.
time and didn't get anything, and nothing happened to him, so he just gave up. And then Theophania searched the room for a long time, very thoroughly searched the room. And in fact, they had supper, and then they searched the room, and she searched all evening looking for something interesting. And she made fantastic checks, like all these 20 plus checks. And she searched through all the jars and just found like old crappy ingredients. And she searched through all the mummy preparation tools and just found mummy preparation tools. And she searched and searched, and she was like so disappointed. And so she didn't find anything. And at that point, I told her that like the text of the adventure actually says the entire purpose of this room is to waste the party's time. There's nothing in here to find at all. It's just designed to waste your time searching. And she was just like, ah! Because she wasted so much time, and like she wasted a bunch of really good rolls.
20s, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I see in the paragraph. Although there is only one item of eventual use. This totally plain and cluttered place. The volume of items is calculated to waste time for the players.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Intentionally bad dungeon design, just to
Yes.
screw. It's not just screwing with the characters. This is screwing with the players.
Oh yeah.
Acererack is reaching through. Since he's the self-insert character for Gary Gygax, that just makes sense. Anyway, there was one exit to the room that was obvious. It was open. It wasn't even a door. There was a passage that led out of it.
Gotcha.
So we had sort of ignored that. I actually went to look through it, and everyone's like, "No, don't look through it. What if that triggers some sort of doomsday bomb or glitter bomb or something awful?"
We're in the middle of dinner. Don't open that door.
But
It's not even opening a door. It's just looking through an open passage.
Right. Yeah.
But
nothing happened. It led to a hallway and a stairs leading down. So
Yeah.
luckily nothing happened. But by this time it was late, and they had debated. They're kind of under a time pressure because the clone spell only lasts for a certain amount of time. But they had debated about going back to town because they needed to.
Odette
wanted
needs
to-
new gear,
Yeah.
and Polmanic is out of spells at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to rest here, but they decided to go back to town, even though it wastes like half a day. So at that point, and now they had a way to get out of the dungeon. They decided to go back to town. So they walked back to town. But before they got
we
back
did
to town,
that, yep.
on the way out, they walked past that little
The
room
stud
they'd
room.
found with the studded, all the studs or whatever, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The studly
Yeah.
room.
And
Yeah,
they decided
so
to just check it out.
The room full of studs.
Mhm.
I think she was low on hit points, so that was
Yeah.
part of it too.
I was
Yeah.
like, I can try this out. I'm low on hit points. I mean, what's the worst that nothing could happen that would carry over to the next life anyway, right? So
Mhm. Yeah. Nothing ever happened.
yeah,
like that.
not a third time anyway.
Yeah. So you caressed some studs.
Yep, I went into the room full of studs and I
Yeah.
tried them all out.
And I think Farshim was the one who eventually found the thing that there
Mhm.
was a set of 7 studs in a row that were all pressable.
Mm.
And so yeah.
We tried pressing each one and in sequence, and
Mhm.
none of them did anything. And then we tried pressing all of them at once,
Mm-hmm.
and it
And
opened.
yeah, the door
There
opened.
you go.
And it
What
opened
did you find?
it opened into a tiny hallway with
Wipe
no
that
obvious exit.
Wipe that grin off your face, Mika. No fair. You're reading the adventure right now.
I already knew what this part was.
Yeah.
And
This is yeah. Okay. So Odette and Farshim go in.
Mhm.
and immediately bolts shoot from the ceiling and start hitting them and damaging them.
It's one of these rooms. It's a little room with bolts from the ceiling and no apparent exits.
I think this time they very quickly discovered, or they would have given up, that
Yeah.
there was, on the very south tip of the hallway, there was clearly a secret door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they try, I think they just did, I think they, right. No, yeah, they tried sliding it right, the door, and it didn't budge.
Mm.
And then more arrows shot them, more bolts shot them.
Yeah.
So they tried shooting it, sliding it left, and it opens.
Yeah.
So they go through, and there's another tiny featureless room with no obvious exits.
And holes in the ceiling for darts to come out of. We know the drill by now. We know what's
Mhm.
coming.
So everyone's like, screw this. They just head back. But those guys decide to keep going through.
Odette and Farshim are gonna get through this thing.
Okay.
Because we know the drill. And Odette actually has a fantastic dex save, and I have a bonus. I have advantage on dex saves against things I can see coming.
Mm.
And I can see this coming. I
Mm.
totally see. Of course, I see this coming. It's the same thing
Over and
over
over.
and over. So yeah, in this room, there's a secret door on the east wall. And so we mess about trying to figure out how to open it. Slide, push, pull, etc. I can't
Yeah.
remember the exact sequence of
Yeah, they tried all the pull. They tried various things. This was the one where they eventually discovered it was two separate panels, and they had to pull them both inwards.
Mm.
And it was around this time, I know it was before getting to the next room, that Odette's luck ran out because it was really hard for her to be hit by the bolts, but she got hit by bolts twice, and she was killed by bolts from the ceiling.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
and so Farshim, I think at this point it was probably Farshim like ran out. I think maybe this was actually just before this little room. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was a little later on. I thought this was like right near the end of the. Like
No,
we
because
got
it was
through-
because I remember the next hallway was at the end of the hallway you were trying to call Farshim, and this is the only hallway.
Yes, that's right. Okay, yes.
So
do
I
remember
think
that now.
Farshim waited for your clone
Respawn.
to respawn.
Yeah.
And then you guys headed back in there again through the next thing into another tiny hallway with holes in the ceiling
Yep.
But
to look
what
for
sort
more
of
secret
work
doors.
did Odette pick up?
Well, you'll see in a moment. So
Okay.
Yeah, Odette happened to find the secret door this time at the end of the hallway and,
Yeah, and
started trying to
so-
open it.
and so I'm like, Zimmy, come over here. I found the next passage.
And he just,
Farmeister, Farmerooney, come on.
he's
and
just staring blankly like, what?
completely refusing to acknowledge anything except his actual name.
Yeah.
And my new quirk is that I call everyone by a different name every time. So I'm going to need to come up with a gigantic list of names for everyone and just go through them, crossing them off, because I can only use
it's like you're the president of the United States.
Yeah, and it's going to be really hard because I still have the unfailingly polite quirk. So if anyone starts, obviously becoming offended by this, I'm just not going to be able to call them anything anymore.
You're going to be apologizing. You'll be like, I'm so sorry, Bobby.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
So
trying to get your name right, Frank.
Yeah.
she's trying to get the door open and it's just like not having any luck. Mika, if you're reading the things, I messed up and there was supposed to be one more door, the first door, so I just skipped one, which is D, but that's if you're counting.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Oh, sitting behind the curtain here.
yeah.
Also, technically, you're going about this. You're going backwards through the doors.
No, I was doing that, so I was going back. Oh, I see. But I didn't do them in. Yes, I actually realized that at the end. I didn't reverse them like I should have, but that's okay.
Didn't really matter.
Yeah. Still annoying.
He's really struggling to get this door open, having various troubles, trying all the push and pull, and just being like, "Come here, Zimmy. Come on, Fahukwa gods."
Didn't
But-
use that one.
But
Come on, Fahua gods.
eventually they discovered that this one pulls up. Oh yeah, she was like, I'm just gonna pull it from both I'm gonna pull it from the bottom so that I can find out if it pulls from the left or the right. And then it turns out it actually pulled up from the bottom.
Right.
And it led
Yeah.
to a tiny featureless room with no obvious exits. And this one, I think they spent a lot of time searching and failing to find the secret
Yeah.
door,
But we knew that
and-
there was one in here because, yeah.
getting shot again and again with bolts, but also mostly avoiding them.
Yeah.
And then they find it on the north wall.
Minimize that. Last time you were using ice blocks to like.
Oh yeah, John found out that Fulminate could actually do that at will, and so he felt that that was an overpowered thing to be able to do at will.
Okay.
When you're supposed to be able to not be able to stop them with anything,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I'll let them stop it for like a round, but if you can do that at will, then you can basically stop it.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Yeah, we were sort of making fun of the physics bending properties of these darts.
Yeah.
We actually established, because they tried to use a door and it just went right through the door, and so we just established that they just go through any non-living material.
And that's when we came up with the idea for pig armor.
Summon animals.
Just strap a whole bunch of pigs to you.
I decided if they went and got a bunch of pigs, that would work. That I would be fine with that. That would allow them to avoid this because that's how it goes through non-living, but it hits living.
I can't wait till the next adventurers come through and they're like, there's pigs.
Yeah, but they didn't bother go getting pigs because it wasn't actually hurting them that much, really, because they had pretty good dex saves.
Yeah.
And so the next door, they spent a lot of time. They had a lot of difficulty. No, not the next one. The next one they opened pretty quick, which was it pivoted on a central hinge because they just tried to pull up from the bottom again.
Yeah.
And that worked. So they go through another featureless room, and they eventually find the door in the north wall. And this one they spent a lot of time getting shot before they figured out they had to pull it down and inward.
And Frank, if you're finding this tedious, imagine living through it.
It's pure and undiluted lunacy.
They
There's
get
gonna be like a secret door that was like you can't find it unless you smash it with a battering ram in there.
I'm sure that the secret doors in the previous set of dart rooms were probably just the same BS as this, with all the different hinges and stuff like that. But I was doing it right. And
no, those doors weren't secret.
Oh, they
That's
weren't
why.
secret. Okay,
Yeah,
well, if I applied that solution to these things, I'm sure that would So Odette is learning the error of her ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that she will in fact go back to battering ramming everything again.
Yeah.
So, but in this room, they got to another tiny featureless room, but this one had a regular, obvious door on the west wall. And so they open this door and enter into a room with the destroyed, crumbled remains of a gargoyle and realize this is the room where they fought the gargoyle and had found the tiny featureless room in the first place.
Yep.
So they had just found their way back to the entrance.
Again. Yep. There was no reward for this.
Nope.
Now, that said, you could have avoided having to go through the misty archway if you'd found this in the first place.
Yeah.
But they decided not to go back through the shooty things and just went through the misty archway, which was much easier.
Yes.
And rejoined the party and were like, screw this.
Yes, I like that. This would have let you avoid the misty archway. So they decided not to go through it again and use the misty archway instead because it's much easier.
Yeah.
They crawled. They took the crawl way back and left and went back to town. Had baths, got their hit points back, and Pulmonic bought what gear he could get in a small town.
Yeah,
and they
Odette's
also
gonna get some new gear.
They also researched ways to avoid that spell, that skull trap thing was doing to trap the soul. So they're going to try to. We're going to do that between sessions, but they're going to try to find some sort of defenses against that.
Yeah, some kind of death ward or soul anchor
or a pig. If we hold a pig up in front of ourselves, the skull will suck the pig's soul out.
Yes.
Wait, are you saying animals have souls? That doesn't seem to match what I've heard you say.
Different universe, different character. As I kept insisting, I wasn't Cricket. Cricket was a character I was playing.
Yes.
So
I didn't necessarily agree with everything that she said or did.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's odd. I'm playing a character that's not me. Sometimes we disagree.
Huh. Weird.
So they return back around noon the next day because it's like a walk to town, right? They get back, they crawl. They get back to the mummy preparation room.
Jean-Claude bought knee pads for everyone.
Of course.
Yep.
I'm surprised her character didn't because it's a polite thing to do.
And I think Odette bought another chest, but it's much smaller.
Yep. Odette's chest is smaller now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep. So anyway,
I hear you get back problems from having too big of a chest.
Yeah. Well, that's what the belt was for. So yeah, we go down. We go back to the room with the 3 vats. I'm sure there's something in that burnt umber vat, but we didn't do any further investigation on it. Presumably, we'll get back to that when we're out of other ideas. We've done this before. We've carried on and we've hit a dead end. We've gone back and explored, and we're like, oh yeah, here's the actual passage. But whatever. We go down, go through the passage, go down a long flight of stairs, go around the corner again. Long passage ahead of us, and we come to our most challenging and devious of foes, our most tricky trap that Odette has ever faced. There is a large, open, obvious pit in the floor, 10 feet deep with spikes at the bottom.
Yep.
And it's 50 feet long, so you can't jump over it, except Jean-Claude can jump over it because he's got boots of jumping, and he can jump 63 feet.
Yes.
So he does.
Yeah, so he jumps over with ropes, and then they attach the ropes with batons, and everyone just does the double rope thing across the side of the pit. But unfortunately, I was like, okay, this is easy, but not a given, so I'll make it a DC 10 dex check. And of course, everyone makes it easily, except Odette.
I have a good dex.
Yeah.
I just rolling like 2s and 3s continuously. I had advantage, and I was getting like 5 as the highest. It was terrible.
So she falls, but fails by less than 5. So I decide there's no official rule for this, but I'm like, okay, she grabs a hold of the rope and is holding on, right? And so Theophania tries to help her, and everyone's helping out, and so she had advantage, and she still fails to climb back up onto the rope and falls down into the pit, falling onto the spikes from a short distance, taking minor damage. But I don't think you took poison. You resisted the poison.
Yeah, I have con is now my top score now that I'm
right.
And so whatever. Now she's at the bottom of the pit, so she's like, well, I may as well search for secret doors while I'm down here, right?
Yeah.
So the rest of the party are scooging over on the ropes, and she starts searching for secret doors, and she makes her way to the far end of the pit. At which point she triggers the pressure plate at the far end of the pit that causes all the spikes in the pit to shoot up out of the pit into the ceiling, impaling all of the characters who are scooging across the pit on ropes.
Yep. Acererack put a trap inside the trap.
Yes.
And it's designed for people who are searching no, it's actually not for secret doors. It's for if you're like, okay, we'll just climb down the pit, walk across the bottom, and climb back up, and then it gets you. Right? So,
Yep, it got us. So, we got a bit riddled with spikes. And then we climb up the other end.
I think Theophania almost died from that, but she's still alive.
And so then we head down to the rest of the end of the hallway, and it's a long hallway, and it's a dead end.
As it always is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we were like getting close to out of time there.
That was,
we were
that's
well over
that's
time, something.
Yeah.
So, because it took us a lot longer to get past that obvious hole in the floor than it probably should have taken us to get past. An obvious hole in the floor that we've got a rope bridge over. This is going to take a while. Oh, we nearly died. That was challenging.
Yeah.
We're professional adventurers.
Yeah, it's too bad. That would have been awesome if Theophania had died there, because it'd be perfect. It'd be like an awesome thing to log, because I've been logging where everyone died.
Yeah.
So.
Have you guys gained levels?
I leveled them up to level 5, and then I'm just leaving them there because that's seems to be appropriate for most of the dungeon except for the final battle. And so the conceit is that during that battle they can take the clone spell off, go all the way up to their real level, and then and if they die for real.
Gotcha.
But so dead end hallway. That means we're gonna start working our way back, doing a whole lot of searching for secret passages.
Now, did you get a new battering ram, or did you go with a pickaxe?
Well, originally, as Otto, I had everything.
But now that's all in that
it's in the chest that's in the skull trap.
Whoever's in there is going to be like, oh boy, a huge chest, and it's just full of literally 5 copies of every common item.
It's like, how many sledgehammers did he need?
It's just like, when you play a game and you're just like, you got to click through and sell all the ripped pants.
Yep.
You're just doing that, just like, why didn't they make a sell all button?
Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
So if you ever wonder where that stuff comes from, this is where it comes from.